You're being dramatic. You weren't dramatic. You were just finally honest. A lot of times, people in relationships will look at their partner and they'll say, "Oh, you're being dramatic." That's basically an attack on the other person's actions, right? If I say something to my pretend significant other who is sitting here and she says, "Oh, you're being dramatic," she's basically attacking what I said. Maybe I am being over the top. And when someone tells you you're being dramatic, it certainly makes you question yourself. Like, oh, am I? That's your first instinct is, oh, I'm sorry, but stop for a moment. Are you being dramatic? It's hard. It's hard to tell when you're in a relationship with someone if they're telling you that you're being dramatic if you really are, because all you have is their words and your perspective. So you have to think for yourself, and you can have friends and you can talk to your friends about it, but I personally don't think it's a good idea to discuss your relationships with your friends, especially it's I don't think it's good practice. I think certain things should be private. I mean, it helps to have a friend, but I believe in privacy. So you need to be self-aware and realize that most of the time you're not being dramatic. You're just expressing your feelings. You're just talking, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with telling someone how you feel, especially your significant other. You should be able to tell this person anything. And if you can't tell your significant other anything, then something is wrong. You might have a real connection. I've talked about this before. You can have a real connection with someone, but it doesn't mean it's right. Right? It doesn't mean it's right. And so if you cannot express your feelings to your significant other, that's a big red flag. And if you feel like you can't do it because you're holding back for some reason, that is also a red flag. Because why aren't you able to do that? Because you're worried about their reaction. You're thinking they're not going to understand. And if when you do, they call you dramatic for expressing your feelings, that's even worse. That just, you take all this effort to finally express yourself. You have this lingering pain inside you that you've been just trying to let out, and you tell your partner, and then your partner says you're being dramatic. So after you did all the work, all the emotional work inside to speak up and be brave, then you get shut down? That's not right. That is not right. That is not love. That is not right. Again, you can have a real connection, but it doesn't mean it's right. 99% of the time, if someone tells you you're being dramatic, especially in a relationship that's evolved, probably not being dramatic. You're just expressing your feelings. And maybe you've expressed the same thing multiple times. Maybe you've raised your voice. People raise their voice. Why? Because they feel like they're not being heard. That's why people yell. That's why people raise their voice. They yell, they get angry because they feel like they're not being heard. And that's why people's voices rise. People get in fights. It should not get to that point, ever. Ever. It's okay to express your feelings. It's okay. You're not being dramatic. And I guess the key takeaway from this video should be that, again, if you're in a relationship and you're constantly being told that you're being dramatic, it's probably not a good place to be. I'm just being honest. It's not good. You need peace. Peace is important. You should be able to choose yourself, because I always say this: no one is going to love you more than you. Right? No one loves you more than you. Not your parents, not your family, no one should love you more than you love yourself. You need to reach that point where You love yourself more than anyone else. And that is the first step to being truly independent and finding a partner that doesn't complete you, but complements you. I hope it's been helpful. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment so I know anything, even a hate comment. Now, don't leave hate comments, but leave a comment if it helped you in any way. If you have a story to share related to this, to being too dramatic. It's such a common thing, and I've seen it. I'm trying to think about my relationships. If I'm not the kind of guy that typically says this, but I've seen it. I've seen it I've seen friends do it. I've seen friends. Oh, she's just being dramatic. I don't know, man. She's not being dramatic. She's being a jerk. I hope it's been helpful, and yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. But the key takeaway is, you know, someone telling you that is it's a really hard blow. It's just such a hard blow because I know many times, like I said, many times you have something and it's been building up, and then you finally tell your partner, and then they shut you down. They shut you down. This is your partner, the one person on this earth you're supposed to be able to count on. So to have this person shut you down is really bad. So if you're going through this, let me just say I'm sorry, and I hope it gets better. And if it doesn't get better for you, I hope that you can find the strength to make the decisions in your life where it gets better. Take care of yourself.